This is George from High Tech Legion. Recently, Cooler Master joined the all-in-one liquid cooling market with the Seidon series. First piece out was the Seidon 120. They are now coming out with the Seidon 240, which is a 240mm radiator variation of the Seidon. The Seidon comes packaged in standard Cooler Master packaging, very large box as you can see, as you would expect with a 240mm radiator. Really nice clear picture on the front. Cooler Master Seidon 240 logo right here. Liquid CPU cooler, maintenance-free, efficient design for overclocking, and ultra-fine microchannel. What this means to you is maintenance-free really being the biggest part. It is an all-in-one cooler which is completely maintenance-free, comes pre-filled, everything you need is in one box. Once it's in the case, it is not going to be any more worry than a standard air cooler. Designed for overclocking, of course, it's going to give you some great temps even with an overclock. And the ultrafine microchannel. Microchannel technology in the cooling block allows for more water to pass over the block, which is going to allow for better heat dissipation, therefore better cooling. Taking a look around the back of the box real quick. You just got to run over on the features as well as the dimensions, and over on the side panel we've got specifications, all of your measurements and whatnot. Really the big things over here are going to be the 220mm fans which are included, which are 6 to 2400 RPM. That should be 600 to 2400 RPM, staying a little under 40 dB. Now that may seem a little loud, but you have to remember 2400 RPM and pushing at about 86 CFM, you're gonna make some noise moving that kind of air. Taking a look at the Seidon 240 itself. First, take a look at the fans. What we've seen from Cooler Master before, the waved blade design, good looking fan, and as we've seen before, very effective, moves quite a bit of air. And of course, two are included, PWM adapter, 4-pin on both. The Seidon itself, 240mm radiator as you can see. Not too thick, somewhat thin radiator, so it's going to go into the top of almost any case and into the front panel of a lot of cases that are being released these days. So you've got the 240mm radiator, two hoses coming down. They are not smooth rubber hoses. They are kink-free, notched hoses. They are rubber, as you can see. Don't kink. Very easy to work with. Quite a bit easier to work with than a lot of the kink cables we've seen in the past. Comes down two connectors on the pump, which are side mounted rather than top mounted, and pump itself has a single 3-pin coming off for 12 volt power. Of course, this is going to have to go to a 12 volt power source. You cannot hook it to a chassis header that is going to be speed controlled, you know, as a fan header. It has to be all the way at 12 volts all the time. But the pump itself, as you can see, quite a bit thinner than what we've seen in the past from other manufacturers. Nice looking design, flat flush Cooler Master logo right on top, and two connection points and contact plate. Obviously microchannels being inside where the water is going to be flowing over it, but you've got beautiful copper contact plate as you can see, very nicely finished, sealed all around. Keep the water inside rather than going into your case, of course. So, good looking, well built unit. Taking a look at the included accessories. First, start with the install manual. Very, very multi-language. Two-sided with 10 languages on each side. There are pictures through the entire process. As always with Cooler Master manuals, the pictures are a little bit small, but they are descriptive and it will get you through it. It's a complete manual, so you are going to be able to get through the installation without too much difficulty. Now, next thing you notice is there's no software. The Seidon 240 is actually controlled just like an air cooler. Your fans are going to go to any fan controller you like, any software fan controller, BIOS fan controller, and use the CPU header on your motherboard. So taking a look at that, two fans, you've got Y connector to connect the two fans to the 4-pin motherboard PWM connector. Going through, you've got AMD backplate and retention clips. The inclusion of the AMD backplate is a nice touch. Typically we don't see the AMD backplate included. Typically you're left to use the stock backplate that comes with your motherboard. Next, Intel backplate, retention clips, Intel 2011, as well as bolts that hold the backplate down. Nice rubber anti-vibration mat for mounting the unit. You've got an absolute ton of screws for any type of configuration you can imagine. Well more than enough to do push-pull and use 4 fans rather than 2, as well as mount it with fans on top, fans on the bottom, however you like. All of the hardware is included. Small tube of thermal interface material, and Phillips 2 nut driver for your motherboard screws, or I should say the motherboard nuts, as well as LGA 2011 nuts. The Seidon 240 is obviously a great looking kit from Cooler Master. 240mm radiator. It is a little bit slim, but not too slim. Nice meaty radiator. You've got great kink-free tubing. Pump down on the cooling block itself. Microchannel design on the cooling block for ultimate heat dissipation. 2 120mm fans, 600 to 2400 RPM. The Seidon 240 looks poised to put up some really good numbers and benchmarks, and it looks like a really great cooling unit all around.